Think about the person who never seems to be at the center of their own misfortunes. When they lose a job, it's a vindictive boss. When a relationship falls apart, the partner was toxic. When they miss a goal, they point to a rigged economy or simple bad luck. We usually label this playing the victim. It feels like a character flaw, a stubborn refusal to grow up, or a simple bad attitude. Psychological science, however, suggests these excuses are the visible symptoms of a specific, structural way the brain interprets reality. This is known as an external locus of control. It's a core belief system where they view themselves as a passenger in their own life. In their mind, events don't happen because of their choices. Events happen to them. When we look past the surface annoyance of these excuses, we find a pattern that suggests the victim mentality isn't an emotional choice, but a byproduct of how the mind processes complex problems. Admitting to a massive failure is a high-level cognitive task. It requires the brain to work backward, using logical reasoning to isolate the specific moment a decision went wrong. Highly intelligent people tend to lean on an internal locus of control. When a project fails, they use curiosity to analyze the breakdown, looking for the technical or personal errors they can correct for next time. This level of self-correction is demanding. It burns a significant amount of mental energy to rebuild a strategy from the ashes of a mistake. Minds that struggle with complex problem-solving often find this process overwhelming. Without the curiosity to dig into the why of a failure, the search for a real solution becomes exhausting. To save energy, the brain takes a cognitive shortcut. It shifts the blame. Attributing a disaster to bad luck requires zero brainpower. Chronic excuse-making is a path of least resistance. It's the sign of a mind that lacks the resources to navigate its own errors. This mental shortcutting is protected by an aggressive emotional defense. To keep the blame-free narrative alive, the brain utilizes a trait called cognitive rigidity. Cognitive rigidity is an inability to process nuance. It forces the mind to see the world in absolute black and white. In this rigid framework, there are no small mistakes. Admitting to a single error is cognitively processed as admitting to being a total failure. To prevent that total collapse of self-worth, the mind subconsciously creates a fictional reality. It populates this world with external villains, bosses, exes, and systems, to ensure the individual remains untainted by their own incompetence. This creates a wall where no feedback can penetrate. Because they cannot handle the nuance of a critique, they interpret logical advice as a direct personal attack. Their emotional control is too thin to allow reflection. They lash out to protect the section, leaving the underlying mistake unaddressed and doomed to repeat. When this pattern persists for years, it dictates a person's entire trajectory. Attributing every outcome to the economy or the government builds a psychological prison. If the causes of your life are always out there, you have effectively resigned from your own future. The ultimate consequence is the loss of agency. You cannot adapt to a world you believe you have no influence over, which ensures that long-term goals remain out of reach. Recognizing loud, chronic complaining for what it is helps us understand the person behind it. It isn't a series of valid grievances, it's a display of a profound cognitive limit. True intelligence is found in the courage to perform a direct assessment of your own choices. It requires the capacity to own personal failures. Taking control of your reality starts when you stop identifying scapegoats. If you want to keep exploring the psychological frameworks that shape our lives, make sure to hit that subscribe button.